The transport ship Galactic Hunter dropped out of hyperspace above the green planet Verdania. Inside the cargo bay, dozens of alien creatures checked their weapons and gear. The annual galactic hunting tournament was about to begin, and every species wanted to prove they were the best hunters in the galaxy. Near the back of the bay, 5 humans sat quietly on metal benches. They looked tiny compared to the other hunters around them. The biggest human was Hoyen Woo Kim, and he was only 6 feet tall. Next to the 8-foot Vorthok warriors, he looked like a child. "Look at the little pink ones," laughed a Vorthok hunter, named Gorth. His blue skin was covered in thick armor, and energy weapons hung from his belt. He brought sticks and rocks to a real hunt. The other aliens joined in the laughter. The Zilani hunters, who looked like giant cats that walked on 2 legs, made purring sounds that meant they found something funny. Their leader, Swiftclaw, pointed at the humans with one of her sharp claws. "On my world, we would keep creatures like these as pets," she said. Her yellow eyes gleamed with amusement. "They are so slow and weak. Did they even survive on their planet?" An Exari hunter named Mindbender floated nearby. His gray skin was smooth and his large head held a brain twice the size of a human's. He spoke without moving his mouth, using his thoughts to make words in the air. Perhaps they hid in caves while the real predators hunted. His voice echoed in everyone's mind. It is the only way such soft creatures could live. The 5 humans did not respond to the insults. Hoyen Woo Kim kept his dark eyes forward, his face calm. He had served in Earth's Special Forces for 15 years. He had seen combat on 3 different planets. But he knew that showing anger now would only make things worse. Next to him sat Jimin Park, a woman with short black hair and steady hands. She had been the best sniper in the Korean military before joining the space program. Her rifle case lay across her knees, but the weapon inside was not like the energy guns the aliens carried. It was an old-fashioned projectile weapon that used gunpowder and metal bullets. "Ancient technology," snorted another Vorthok. "Do they plan to throw rocks at the Shadow Stalker?" Taeho Lee, the team's engineer, smiled slightly at this comment. He was a thin man with clever fingers that could build or fix almost anything. The bag beside him was full of simple tools: wire, small explosives, metal parts, and rope. The aliens thought these items were worthless, but Taeho knew better. Saw Young Choi, the team medic, opened a medical kit and checked her supplies. She was the smallest of the group, barely 5 feet tall, with gentle hands that could heal wounds or mix chemicals. Her kit contained bandages, medicines, and small bottles filled with different substances. The aliens saw only primitive healing supplies. Min Ho Yoon, their communications expert, typed quietly on a simple computer tablet. Unlike the advanced AI systems the other teams used, his equipment looked basic and old. The young man with thick glasses was their eyes and ears. But the aliens thought he was just playing games. Commander Zarthok, a massive Vorthok leader, stood up and addressed the entire group. His voice boomed through the cargo bay. "Welcome, hunters, to the greatest challenge in the galaxy," he said. "For 100 years, the Shadow Stalker has ruled the jungles of Verdania. It has killed 47 hunters from 12 different worlds. This creature is death itself, invisible, silent, and without mercy." The alien hunters roared their approval. Energy weapons hummed to life, and claws extended. Everyone wanted to be the one to finally kill the legendary beast. "The rules are simple," Zarthok continued. "Survive 7 days in the jungle, hunt the Shadow Stalker. The team that brings back its head wins glory for their entire species." He paused and looked at the human team with what might have been pity. "Of course, we do not expect all teams to survive. The weak will feed the jungle, as is natural." More laughter filled the bay. The Zilani made their purring sounds again. The Nexari's mental voices whispered jokes about human funeral rites. Hoyen Woo finally spoke. His voice was quiet but clear. "We understand the rules," he said simply. This caused another wave of laughter. Gorth slapped his armored chest. "Listen to the little human," he said, so brave with his tiny voice. "Tell me, Pink One, what do you hunt on your world? Insects? Small plants?" "We hunt everything," Hyunwoo replied calmly. Everything.
Us.
Ears twitched with amusement. What is the most dangerous prey on your soft world? Hyunwoo looked at her with steady eyes. Each other, he said. The laughter stopped for a moment. The aliens were not sure if this was a joke or something else. Then Mindbender's mental voice filled the air again. How primitive. You fight your own kind instead of seeking worthy prey. This explains why you are so weak. The laughing started again, louder than before. But Hyunwoo noticed that some of the older alien hunters were not laughing anymore. They were thinking about what he had said. The ship's speakers crackled to life. Attention all hunters. We are beginning descent to Verdania. Prepare for drop. Zone deployment. Through the small windows, they could see the jungle planet growing larger. Green forests stretched to the horizon, broken only by rivers and mountains. Somewhere in that green maze, the Shadow Stalker waited. The aliens began checking their gear one final time. Advanced scanners, energy shields, flying vehicles, and weapons that could melt metal from a mile away. Each team had enough technology. To conquer a small city, the human team checked their gear too. Simple backpacks filled with basic supplies. Water purification tablets, first aid kits, rope, and knives. Food that would last a week, if they were careful. Their most advanced piece of equipment was Jimin's rifle, and it was over 50 years. Old by galactic standards, drop zone in 30 seconds, announced the ship's computer. The cargo bay doors opened. Wind from the planet below rushed in, carrying the smell of rain and growing things. The jungle was alive and waiting, one by one. The alien teams activated their flying gear and soared out into the green world below. They moved like shooting stars, their technology making the descent easy and fast. The human team was last. Had no flying gear, just simple parachutes. As they stood at the edge of the open door, looking down at the endless jungle, Gorth called out one final insult. Try to survive one day, little humans. We will tell stories about your courage when we return to our worlds. Hyunwoo looked back at the laughing alien. His face was still calm, but there was something new in his dark eyes. Something that made a few of the older hunters stop laughing and pay attention. See you in 7 days, Hyunwoo said quietly. Then, the 5 humans jumped into the green hell below, and the real hunt began. The 5 humans landed hard in the thick jungle canopy. Their parachutes caught in the tall trees, leaving them hanging 30 feet above the ground. While the aliens had landed gracefully with their flying gear, the humans had to cut themselves free and climb down using ropes. Jimin Park was the first to reach the ground. She moved quietly through the thick plants, her rifle ready. The jungle was full of sounds, birds calling, insects buzzing, and strange creatures moving through the trees. She listened carefully to each sound, learning what was normal and what might be dangerous. Clear, she whispered into her small radio. One by one, the rest of the team joined her on the jungle floor. Hyunwoo looked around at the thick green walls that surrounded them. Huge trees blocked out most of the sunlight. The air was hot and wet, making their clothes stick to their skin. Oh, we need shelter first, Hyunwoo said quietly. Oh, then we find water and learn about this place. Above them in the orbiting command ship, alien spectators watched the hunting teams through cameras and sensors. The viewing room was filled with creatures from across the galaxy, all eager to see who would claim the Shadow Stalker's head. Look at the humans, laughed General Crix, a Vorthok military leader. They are already lost. It took them 10 minutes just to get out of the trees. On the main screen, they could see the different teams spreading across the jungle. The Vorthok squad was moving fast through the forest, using energy scanners to map the area. Their leader Gorth carried a plasma cannon that could burn through solid rock. The Vorthok team will find the Shadow Stalker first, predicted an alien commentator. Their weapons and sensors give them a huge advantage. Another screen showed the Zilani pack. Swiftclaw and her hunters moved like liquid shadow through the trees. They could run faster than any other species and climb straight up tree trunks with their sharp claws. Their yellow eyes could see in almost complete darkness. My money is on the Zilani, said a wealthy trader from the outer systems. Speed and natural hunting ability will win this contest. The third screen displayed the Nexari team. Mindbender and his two companions floated silently through the forest, their mental powers reaching out to scan for thoughts and life signs. They could sense any living creature within a mile and speak to each other without making any sound. The Nexari have the best chance, argued a scientist from the inner worlds. Mental powers are the ultimate hunting tool. But when the cameras found the human team, the aliens fell silent for a moment. Then the laughter started again. The humans were not racing through the jungle like the other teams. Instead, they had found a small clearing near a stream and were building something that looked like a primitive camp. Taeho Lee was cutting branches with a simple knife, while So Young Choi gathered different types of plants and put them in small piles. Min Ho Yoon sat by the stream with his basic computer, typing slowly as he watched the water flow. "What are they doing?" asked General Crix. "The hunt has started, and they are playing house." Haeon-woo was directing the work, but he was not rushing anyone. He moved carefully around the clearing, studying the ground and looking up at the trees. Every few minutes he would stop and listen to the jungle sounds. "They will never find the Shadow Stalker at this rate," said the commentator. "While the real hunters search the deep jungle, the humans are wasting time with camping games." The cameras showed Jimin Park doing something strange. She was walking in wide circles around their camp, stopping to touch trees and examine broken branches. Sometimes she would kneel down and look at the dirt or pick up small pieces of plants. "Is she playing in the mud?" asked a viewer. But Haeon-woo watched Jimin work with serious eyes. She was not playing. She was reading the jungle like a book written in dirt and broken leaves. Every mark on the ground told her something about the creatures that lived here after 2 hours, Gimin returned to the camp and spoke quietly to her team leader. "Something big passed through here 3 days ago," she said. "The tracks are deep, and it moved careful-like, testing each step. It stopped by the water to drink, but only for a few seconds." Haeon-woo nodded. "The Shadow Stalker. Maybe the feet are different from anything I know. Wide pads, but with sharp points at the front. And look at this," as she showed him a tree branch. That had been broken 8 feet off the ground. It marked territory, like a big cat, but the claw marks are longer than my hand. While Jimin had been tracking, the others had been busy too. Taeho had built a shelter that looked simple, but would keep them dry and hidden. So Young had sorted the plants she collected into 3 groups: food, medicine, and poison. "These red berries will make you sick, but not kill you," she explained to the others. "These leaves can stop pain and help wounds heal. And this bark, when you crush it up, makes a powder that burns the eyes and nose." Minho had been studying the water and testing his equipment. His simple computer was slowly mapping the area and learning about the local weather patterns. "The stream flows north, toward the mountains," he reported. "There are metal pieces in the water, old equipment from hunters who came before. The Shadow Stalker might collect trophies near the water source." Up in the command ship, the aliens were getting bored watching the humans work. "This is not hunting," complained General Crix. "This is very slow camping." They switched their attention to the other teams. The Vorthok squad had found old tracks and were following them deeper into the jungle. Their sensors beeped and flashed as they detected signs of the legendary predator. The Zilani pack had split up to cover more ground. Swiftclaw was climbing high into the forest canopy, while her hunters checked caves and dense brush below. The Nexari team was using their mental powers to scan the thoughts of jungle animals, looking for memories of fear and death that would lead them to the Shadow Stalker's hunting grounds. All 3 alien teams were moving fast and covering large areas. Their advanced technology made the search look easy and scientific. But as the sun began to set on the first day, something strange started to happen. The human team began to move. They left their simple camp, but they did not abandon it. Taeho had built hidden traps around the clearing, simple snares made from rope and bent branches. So Young had placed small containers of her plant mixtures near the trails that led to their camp. The 5 humans moved through the jungle in a line, with Jimin in front reading tracks and Haeon-woo in back watching for danger. They moved slowly, but never stopped or got lost. Minho marked their path on his computer, while Soyoung collected more plants as they walked. "They are finally starting to hunt," said the alien commentator, "but they are already hours behind the other teams." The cameras followed the humans as they found more signs of the Shadow Stalker. Old kills, territorial marks, and a pattern of movement that showed the creature was smart and careful. But the aliens watching from orbit did not understand what they were seeing. The humans were not just following the Shadow Stalker. They were learning how it thought, how it hunted, and what it feared. As darkness fell over the jungle, the real hunt was just beginning. And the humans had a plan that no alien could imagine. On the third day of the hunt, something went wrong in the jungle. The first sign of trouble came when the Zalani pack stopped reporting to the command ship. "General." Crick stared at the blank screen where Swiftclaw's team should have been. "Where? Are they? Their signals just disappeared?" The alien spectators leaned forward in their seats. "Maybe the Shadow Stalker got them," suggested the commentator. "It is known for silent kills." But 6 hours later, the Nexari team also went quiet. Mindbender's mental voice, which had been giving regular updates, suddenly stopped reaching the command ship. 2 teams in one day? General Crick's blue skin turned darker with worry. The Shadow Stalker has never been this active before. Cameras searched the jungle, but the thick trees made it hard to see anything. The remaining alien hunters began to move more carefully, their confidence shaken by the disappearance of 2 powerful teams, far below in the green maze. The human team moved through the forest like ghosts. They had not disappeared. It simply learned to become invisible. Hyunwoo led his team along an animal trail, following signs that Jiamin had found earlier. But they were not tracking the Shadow Stalker anymore. They were hunting something else entirely. "Vorthok Patrol, 200 meters ahead," whispered Minho, looking at his simple computer. 3 of them moving loud and fast. Hyunwoo held up his fist, and the team stopped moving. They had been practicing this for 2 days, learning to work together without words. Each person knew their job. G-Min climbed into a tree with her rifle, finding a hidden spot where she could see the trail ahead. Taeho pulled out a coil of thin wire and began setting up one of his traps. Soyoung opened her medical bag and prepared a small dart with sleeping medicine. Minho kept watching his computer screen, tracking the alien hunters as they crashed. Through the jungle like a small army, the Vorthok were following their scanners, which beeped loudly every few seconds. Their energy weapons hummed with power, and their heavy armor made noise with every step. They moved like they owned the jungle, never thinking that something might be hunting them. Gorth, the team leader, stopped at a fallen log and checked his scanner again. "The energy signature is stronger here," he told his companions. "The Shadow Stalker passed this way recently." He was right, but not in the way he thought. The humans had been using pieces of the Shadow Stalker's old kills to create false trails. Soyoung had found that certain organs from the creature's prey gave off the same energy pattern that the alien scanners detected. "We will be the first to find it," said another Vorthok hunter. "The weak species will bow before our strength." "The humans are probably dead already," laughed the third alien. "Soft creatures like that cannot survive 2 days in real wilderness." Started walking again, following their scanners deeper into the trap that Taeho had prepared. The first Vorthok stepped over a fallen branch and triggered a hidden wire. The trap was simple, but effective. A bent tree branch loaded with rocks and sharp sticks. It swung down fast and hit the alien hunter in the chest, knocking him backward into a pit that had been covered with leaves. The second hunter spun around, raising his energy weapon, but Jimin's bullet hit him in the shoulder before he could fire. The old-fashioned projectile went right through his advanced armor, which was designed to stop energy weapons, not solid metal. Gorth roared with anger and fired his plasma cannon at the trees where the shot had come from. The energy blast burned. Through branches and leaves, Jimin had already moved to a different position. Before Gorth could fire again, So-young's dart hit him in the neck. The sleeping medicine she had made from jungle plants worked fast. The big alien stumbled, then fell face first into the dirt. In less than 30 seconds, all 3 Vorthok hunters were down. The first was trapped in the pit with a broken leg. The second was unconscious from blood loss, and Gorth was sleeping deeply. The human team moved quickly and quietly. They used Taeho's rope to tie up the aliens, then took all their weapons and equipment. The advanced scanners, energy shields, and communication devices went into waterproof bags, but they did not kill their prisoners. Instead, they dragged the unconscious aliens to a large tree near a stream and hung them up by their feet, like hunters displaying their trophies. Taeho attached a small sign to the tree, written in the common galactic language, courtesy of Earth's hunting team. This scene was repeated 6 more times over the next 2 days. The human team used different tactics for each alien species, but the results were always the same. When they found the Zilani pack, Gimin used their own speed against them. She created a maze of tripwires in a narrow canyon, then made noise, to draw the cat-like hunters into her trap. The Zilani ran fast into the wires and got tangled up, making it easy for the humans to capture them with So-young's sleeping darts. The Nexari team was harder to catch because of their mental powers, but Hyenwoo had a solution. The humans split up and approached from different directions, thinking about different things. When Mindbender tried to read their thoughts, he got confused by 5 different sets of plans and ideas. While the Nexari leader was distracted, Taeho set off a small explosive that created a loud noise and bright flash. The aliens' sensitive minds were overloaded by the sudden shock, giving the humans time to capture them, each time they caught a team. The humans took their equipment but left them alive and unharmed. Soon the jungle was decorated with hanging alien hunters, all tied up like hunting trophies near streams and slurks. In the command ship above, panic was spreading through the viewing room. "All teams are missing," reported a nervous technician. "No communication for over 12 hours. The Shadow Stalker could not have taken them all," said General Crix. "Something else is happening down there." They sent scanning drones into the jungle to search for the missing hunters. What they found made the entire room fall silent. The drones discovered the hanging aliens one by one. Each team was alive but helpless, strung up like decorations on a primitive hunting display. Their advanced weapons and gear were gone, replaced by simple rope and wooden signs. "Impossible," whispered the commentator. "Who could have done this?" The answer came when the drones found the human team. The 5 small figures were sitting calmly by a stream, cleaning their simple weapons and cooking a meal over a small fire. Around their camp, stolen alien technology was organized in neat piles. Hyenwoo looked up at the hovering drone and waved politely, as if greeting an old friend. "The humans," said General Crix, his voice full of shock. "The humans did this." Species that had been mocked as weak prey had systematically hunted and captured every other team in the tournament. They had turned the galaxy's greatest hunters into their own trophies, and they had done it all without killing a single alien. The real hunt was not for the Shadow Stalker anymore. The humans had become the apex predators of Verdania, and everyone in the galaxy was beginning to understand what that meant. On the 5th day, the Shadow Stalker finally showed itself. Hyenwoo was sitting by the stream, cleaning his simple knife, when he felt eyes watching him. The jungle had gone completely quiet. No birds singing, no insects buzzing, no small animals moving through the leaves. Even the wind seemed to stop. He did not move or look around. Instead, he kept working on his knife as if nothing had changed. But he spoke quietly into his radio. "It's here," he whispered. His team was spread around the camp, each person doing normal tasks. Jimin was checking her rifle by a tree. Taeho was fixing a trap that had been damaged by rain. Soyoung was sorting through her plant medicines. Minho was typing on his computer, but they were all ready to fight or run at any moment. The shadow stalker stepped out from behind a huge tree trunk, moving so quietly that it seemed to float above the ground. It was bigger than any of them had. Imagine 10 feet tall and covered in dark fur that changed color to match the shadows around it. Its face was like a mix between a big cat and something much more intelligent. Yellow eyes, as large as dinner plates, studied the humans with careful interest. When it opened its mouth, teeth the size of daggers gleamed in the dim light. The creature could have killed them all in seconds. Its claws were longer than Hyen-Wu's. Knife and muscles like steel cables moved under its fur. This was the apex predator of Verdania, the killer of 47 alien hunters. But it did not attack. Instead, Shadowstalker sat down like a giant cat and continued watching them. Its head tilted to one side, as if it was thinking about something important. Hyunwoo slowly put down his knife and looked directly at the creature. Most animals saw eye contact as a challenge, but the Shadowstalker seemed to understand that this was different. This was respect between equals. "You have been watching us," Hanwoo said quietly. "You saw what we did to the others." The Shadowstalker made a low, rumbling sound that was not quite a growl. It sounded almost like it was agreeing, in the orbital. Command ship, every alien was staring at the screen in shock. The cameras had finally found the legendary predator. But instead of attacking the humans, it was having some kind of conversation with them. "What is happening?" asked General Crix. "Why is it not killing them?" The Shadowstalker stood up and walked slowly around the human camp. It moved carefully, never stepping on their gear or disturbing their work. When it came to the piles of captured alien equipment, it stopped and sniffed at the energy weapons. Then, it made a sound that was clearly disgust. The creature walked back to Hanwoo and sat down again. This time, it was close enough that the human could have reached out and touched its massive paw. Instead of attacking, the Shadowstalker did something that had never been recorded before. It lowered its great head until it was almost touching the ground. Then it reached up with one claw and scratched a line in the dirt between itself and the human. G-Min understood first. "It's marking territory," she whispered into her radio. "But not to keep us out. It's sharing." The Shadowstalker stood up and walked to the edge of the clearing. Before disappearing back into the jungle, it dropped something on the ground, a large scale from its own hide. Dark and shining like black metal. Among the predators of Verdania, dropping a scale was the highest sign of respect. Creature recognized another apex hunter as an equal. Then the Shadowstalker was gone, vanishing into the green shadows as if it had never been there at all. On the 7th and final day, rescue ships arrived to collect the tournament survivors. The alien spectators expected to find the usual results, maybe 1 or 2 hunters alive, telling stories of narrow escapes from the legendary Shadowstalker. Instead, they found something that would be talked about across the galaxy for years to come. The rescue ships landed near a large clearing by the river. As the alien officials stepped out of their transports, they saw a sight that made them stop and stare in amazement. Hanging from trees all around the clearing were the captured alien hunters. Each team was tied up but unharmed, suspended like hunting trophies with their equipment displayed neatly below them. Wooden signs in multiple galactic languages marked each display. Team Vorthok captured Day 3. Team Zalani captured Day 4 inches. Team Nexari captured Day 4. There were 12 teams in total, representing the finest hunters from across the galaxy. All of them had been systematically captured by a species they had mocked as weak and primitive. In the center of the clearing, the 5 humans sat calmly around a small fire. Their simple equipment was clean and organized. Clothes were dirty but in good repair. They looked like they had been camping for a week, not fighting for their lives in a deadly tournament. The Shadowstalker's scale was displayed prominently on a wooden stand. proof that they had encountered the legendary predator and earned its respect. General Crix walked slowly toward the human team, his blue face showing confusion and something that might have been fear. "What have you done?" he asked. Hien Wu stood up and brushed dirt from his simple uniform. "We won the tournament," he said calmly. "But you did not kill the Shadow Stalker," protested the general. "The rules clearly state, the rules say to hunt the Shadow Stalker," interrupted Hien Wu. "We found it, faced it. It gave us this scale as a sign of respect between hunters." So Young stepped forward with her medical bag. "All the other teams are alive and healthy. They will need water and food, but they are not seriously hurt." The alien officials rushed to cut down their captured hunters. As each team was freed, they looked at the humans with new eyes. The mockery and laughter were gone, replaced by something much more serious. Gorth, the Vorthok leader, walked over to Hien Wu. His armor was gone, and rope marks still showed on his thick arms. "How?" was all he asked. "We hunted the hunters," Hien Wu replied simply. "We studied each team, learned your weaknesses, and used them against you." "But your weapons are so primitive," said Swiftclaw, the Zilani leader. "Your technology is hundreds of years behind ours." Kimin looked up from cleaning her old rifle. "Technology is just a tool. The hunter is what matters." Mindbender, the Nexari leader, had been silent since his rescue. Finally, his mental voice whispered to everyone present, "They think differently than we do. Their minds work together like parts of a single weapon. We never had a chance." The rescue ships prepared to leave Verdania, carrying news that would spread across the galaxy in days. Humans had not just won the tournament, they had completely changed how every species thought about hunting and warfare. As the ships lifted off from the jungle planet, alien military leaders were already making plans. The species they had dismissed as lucky survivors were clearly something much more dangerous. On Earth, Hien Wu's team was welcomed as heroes. They knew the real victory was not proving human superiority. They had shown the galaxy that true hunters respected their environment, worked as a team, and understood that the greatest skill was not killing, but knowing when not to kill. The Galactic Hunting Tournament was quietly canceled the following year. Instead, alien species began sending representatives to Earth to learn about human military tactics and survival techniques. The hunters had become the teachers, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the deep jungles of Verdania, the Shadow Stalker continued its reign as apex predator. But now, it shared its territory with the memory of 5 small creatures who had earned its respect through patience, skill, and wisdom. The hunt was over, but the legend was just beginning.